Hi guys, welcome to this week's Lift Input. I hope you're all really well. This week we're carrying on our theme for this half term, which is mountains and mountaintop experiences. Last week we looked at and we thought about Isaac and Abraham, who really trusted God even when he asked them to do something really crazy and bizarre. This week we're going to be looking at Moses and Mount Sinai. Now, our story takes place a long time after Abraham and Isaac, and the Israelites and Moses have just escaped from Egypt and have just escaped from slavery, and they're now wandering around the desert going, what are we going to do? What's next? This is all very confusing. I don't like this. So God, and this is how the Bible describes it, God comes down and is in a big cloud on top of Mount Sinai. And so the Israelites send Moses up to go and talk to God. And God tells Moses, you are my people. I have chosen you. You are special. Okay? And I want you to be my people. And to be my people, I'm going to give you some rules or commandments to follow. And you're going to follow them. Okay. But we'll come back to that story in a little while. First of all, I want to ask you guys some questions. Now, how many of you have rules at home? Do you have rules about when it's mealtime? We eat at about 5 to 5:30 in our house. That's when dinner time is. And that's because if I don't eat at regular intervals, I get very hangry. I get quite grumpy if I don't get fed on a regular basis. So, you know, it's always a good idea to carry an apple around just in case I get hungry. How about how long you can watch the TV for? Or play on your tablets or your games consoles? Do you have rules about how you should act in the house? You know, like no fighting, no arguing, no hitting, no squabbling, no throwing stuff across the room in case you hit somebody or, you know, you break something by accident. Can I ask you guys a question? Do you like rules? I can remember being young and hating rules. There seem to be so many of them, and I always seem to be breaking them. Okay? My least favourite rule, I have to say, whilst I was growing up, was homework. That was just a rule I really didn't like. Okay, I'm sure it's something that we can all relate to, but, you know, rules, there are so many of them. But whilst we're thinking about that, I want us to play a game. It's called I Wonder. I'm going to ask you a question that starts with I wonder, and you guys are going to use your imagination to help me answer. I'll pause the video so that you've got a chance to give me an answer to my I wonder question, okay? So here we go. In our country, we have lots of rules about food, how it has to be made before we buy and eat it. I wonder what would happen if we didn't have any of those rules. Do you think the food would be clean? Do you think it would taste good? Do you think restaurants would be as clean as they are? Okay, so question number 2. We also have lots of rules in sports and games. I wonder what would happen if our games didn't have rules. Would people lie and cheat? Would we know how to actually play the game? Would it be as much fun? And the last thing to think about is on the road. We have tons of rules on how to drive or ride our bikes on the road. I wonder what would happen if we didn't have those rules. You could drive anywhere, stop wherever and whenever you wanted. There could be crashes all the time. We have lots of rules to live by, and most of them are good and necessary. If we didn't have them, I think the world would be a much crazier place. So, coming back to Moses and Mount Sinai, God gave Moses and the Israelites rules to live by. They are called the 10 Commandments. And funnily enough, there are 10 of them. Okay, so the first one is don't worship any other gods. The second one is don't make anything in your life more important than God. Number 3 is don't use God's name in a bad way. Number 4, rest 1 day of the week. Number 5, obey your parents. I'm going to leave that one there, I think. Number 6, don't kill. Number 7, be faithful to your family. Number 8, don't steal. Number 9, don't lie. And number 10, don't be greedy. Now, our phrase that pays this week is something that Jesus said. And it's really cool because what he did was he shortened the 10 Commandments into 2 sentences. It's the first 4, love God, and the last 6, love your neighbour. If we love God, we won't worship any other gods. If we love God, we won't make anything in our life more important than him. If we love God, we won't use his name in a bad way. And if we love God, we'll rest 1 day of the week, just 1 day, and spend that day with God, thinking about it. It's what we do here at Lift. The last 6 are all about loving our neighbour. So, although we live with our parents, or we live with the people who look after us, we obey them. We don't kill other people around us. We love people by being faithful to them and being loyal. We love other people around us by not stealing. We love other people around us by not lying to them. And we love other people around us by not being greedy. I've said it before, but I think it's worth saying again. We do have a lot of rules to live by in our world. But most of them are good and necessary for us to be safe and to have fun and live in a world that is good for us. And I think that if we didn't have them, the world would be a much crazier and scarier place to live in. I hope you guys are having a good time at Lift. I hope that you're enjoying yourselves and everything is going really well. And I'm going to hand back over to Mark. Thanks very much for listening. Take care and God bless, guys. Bye.